Over the years, researchers, archaeologists, and your average Joe next door have all stumbled upon things that are way ahead of the times they have been traced back to, and today we'll have a look at but a few of these out-of-place items. Number 17. The Dorchester Pot. This was a discovery made such a long time ago, yet even after all these years, we still can't parse it out. Found in 1852 in Dorchester, Massachusetts, the Dorchester Pot was discovered by a group of miners. When geologists did some research, they confirmed that the rock surrounding the pot was roughly 500 million years old. There's nothing alien about the rock, just zinc and silver alloy. The pot has flowers and trees etched into it, and the drawings link up to no culture or style of art that anyone knows about. Botanists agree that the plants depicted on the pot have been extinct for over 100,000 years, so where the pot came from or how it got there is still anyone's guess. Number 16. The Baghdad Battery. This is one of the more well-known artifacts that still leave many scratching their heads. It's a clay jar with an asphalt stopper, and it was discovered in Kujut Rabu by Wilhelm Koenig, a German artist and archaeologist. Estimated to be over 2,000 years old, the jar has an iron rod encased by a cylinder made of copper, and when you pour vinegar into the jar, it generates 1.1 volts of electricity. This kind of technology most certainly was not around at this time, and many believe the jar was just used to store papyrus scrolls, although many like to believe that it was some sort of battery. To date, we are no closer to knowing the truth. Number 15. Klerksdorp Spheres. Over in South Africa, there's a little place called Klerksdorp, and it's here that the Klerksdorp spheres were found, deemed to be over 3 billion years old. They were discovered by miners, and people can't get over their perfectly crafted shape. So was it a natural geological process that made them look like this? Research suggests that they are pyrophyllite spheres with latitudinal grooves on them caused by minerals forming in the space between sediments, similar to the way crystals form, and then natural weathering caused them to become rounded. However, there are, of course, some that would prefer to believe they were left behind by aliens. Number 14. Stone Spheres, Costa Rica. While we're on stones, in 1930 some plantation workers found these stone spheres in Costa Rica. Over 300 of these large stone balls were found, all in various sizes, and some weighing up to 8 tons and measuring more than 8 feet in diameter. Where they come from and what their purpose is still unknown, but it certainly hasn't stopped people from trying to guess. Number 13. The Lycurgus Cup. This cup has many believing that the ancient Romans used nanotechnology, but why would people be thinking this? That's because this incredible cup was made during the 4th century, and it's made from dichroic glass, a glass that changes color depending on the light. The person who made the glass is unknown, but he suspended nanoparticles of gold and silver in the cup, which are so small you need an electron microscope to see them. The minuscule particles block certain wavelengths of light, making the glass change color depending on the light and the contents of the cup. Due to the fragility of the glass, this is the only known surviving piece of nanoglass that we know of, so whether it was popular during that time or if this is a once-off is hard to tell. Number 12. Dendera Light. This one is not so much an actual item you can hold in your hand, but drawings that depict an item that could not certainly have existed when the drawing was done. But who are we to say for sure? Erich von Daniken, a Swiss pseudo-archaeologist, shares the opinion that this diagram represents an electrical light, meaning the ancient Egyptians were a lot more advanced than we were aware of. Egyptologists, on the other hand, believe it's a combination of the lotus flower, a jed pillar, and snake coming through the flower into the womb of Nut, a goddess of the sky. We don't know about you, but we're leaning towards a light bulb in this case. Number 11. The Antikythera mechanism. It's been 116 years now since the Antikythera mechanism was discovered by a Greek archaeologist in the wreckage of a Roman cargo ship. Many consider this piece of equipment the world's first computers, and it features a dial that is believed to combine zodiac and solar calendars. The device dates back to 100 BC and was powered by a simple crank with up to 30 gears involved in making it work. The device is so intricate and complex and certainly way beyond its years, with similar contraptions only rearing their heads in the 14th century. It's thought to have been used for various purposes, including seafaring and the early Olympic Games. Number 10. Iron Pillar of Delhi. Is it fair to class this massive pillar as an artifact? We'll let you decide. Suffice to say, it has puzzled researchers for a number of years. The Iron Pillar of Delhi is a monument that isn't much to look at, but it's the material it's made of that has people confused. It's 99.9% iron and yet hasn't rusted since it was built. As you know, any union between iron and atmospheric oxygen is not a good one. So how has this pillar remained unscathed from the elements? We'll let you mull it over. Number 9. Viking Sword Ulfbert. This sword is thought to date back to between 800 and 1000 AD, yet is made in such a way that would have been possible only 800 years later during the Industrial Revolution. The carbon content of the sword is 3 times higher than other swords of that time, and the impurities were so well removed, which could have only happened if it was heated in temperatures of up to 3000 degrees Fahrenheit. A modern blacksmith, Richard Furrer of Wisconsin, recreated the sword using our modern technology and claims it was the most complicated thing he had ever made. So how they did it all those years ago is anybody's guess. Number 8. Yuri Reyes map. Sometime during the 16th century, Yuri Reyes compiled this exceptionally detailed map, which included 10 Arab maps, 4 maps from India, and 1 from Christopher Columbus. This Ottoman cartographer managed to successfully include accurate depictions of Europe and North Africa, parts of Brazil, certain islands of the Atlantic, Japan, and Antarctica. This is also the oldest map that exists that depicts the Americas. So what makes it strange that this map even exists? Well, the fact that it's a view of what one would see from space is the first factor, and secondly, it shows an understanding of our world that wasn't deemed possible for seafarers and explorers of that time. How did he manage to so accurately draw everything out? Well, we wish we had an answer for you. Number 7. The Stone of the Pregnant Woman. When it comes to ancient monuments, there's generally one big question hanging over everyone's heads, and that's how on earth did they manage to move those ginormous stones without modern engineering? Generally, it's with ropes, water, makeshift cranes, and the like, but then you get the Stone of the Pregnant Woman, and it throws those theories right out the window. This Roman monolith weighs 1,000 tons, and it is a mystery how it got to this location. Legend has it that women who touch the stone will fall pregnant on the spot. Not really a theory that we would like to test out in a hurry. Number 6. The Tropa Stones. Dr. Chipu Tai led an expedition into the Bayankara Ula in China in 1938 and found something quite amazing. In some caves that the team were exploring, they discovered hundreds of stone discs buried under thick dust. The discs all looked quite similar to records, all circular in shape with a spiral groove running throughout. The discs are believed to be over 10,000 years old, and each spiral contains the tiniest hieroglyphics. When the discs were translated, the story the hieroglyphics told was hard to believe. It told the tale of spaceships having crashed into nearby mountains, led by people known as tropa. A team of Russian researchers asked to study the discs, and they were sent a few. They said the discs hummed or vibrated in an unusual rhythm as though an electric current passed through them. Number 5. Gobekli Tepe. Again, not an actual artifact, but still a discovery that made people rethink their original way of viewing life's timeline. It's generally believed that humans first settled around 8000 BC, but when Gobekli Tepe was found in 1994, that theory went bust. This rural area in Turkey has people now thinking that humans first settled around the 10th millennium BC. They have found huge stone pillars with carvings of animals on them. It's kind of like the chicken and the egg scenario. Which came first? Did people build settlements first and then look for animals? Or did the animals draw people to build a settlement because they knew there would be enough food to survive on? What do you guys think? Number 4. Roman dodecahedrons. The only thing that researchers can agree with the Roman dodecahedrons is that it has 12 sides. Other than that, well, it's open for debate. These contraptions were made between AD 100 and 300 and sport a hollow center. Around 100 of them have been found wherever there was a Roman influence. What the experts do find odd is that the Romans were meticulous about writing everything down, and yet there is nothing about these strange little gadgets. Number 3. The Saqqara bird. It was during an excavation of the Padi Iman tomb in Saqqara, Egypt, that the Saqqara bird was discovered. It's thought to date back to 200 BC, and to some it might look like a little wooden bird, but to others, it's a replica of an ancient Egyptian glider. Scale models have been built to prove that it does indeed fly, and the models proved rather successful. There are hieroglyphs on the side of the bird which translated means the gift of Amon and I want to fly. Number 2. The Sacsayhuaman Falls. Again, not an artifact, but it's walls that we're intrigued with next, and they're located near the city of Cusco, Peru. Spanish conquistadors were amazed that people from 1100 were able to build such a structure when they deemed them to be ignorant or not very intelligent. Why they're so intriguing is that the 3 concentric walls are made with limestone blocks that weighed 300 tons each, and then, without mortar or cement, are placed in such a way that not even a sharp knife can be wedged between the stones. Researchers have tried to replicate this on a smaller scale, but with no success. Number 1. Jonghong's seismoscope. This is officially the first earthquake detecting tool in history, and it dates back to 132 AD. Here's how it somehow worked. When there was an earthquake looming, one of the dragons would spit out a ball into the toad's mouth. The dragons each represented directions of a compass. It's said this instrument successfully predicted a quake 400 miles away, but how it really works is totally up for you to decide. Thank you guys so much for watching. Which ones of these were new for you? We hope you enjoyed today's video. Remember to leave a like if you did and subscribe for more daily content.